So I started thinking yesterday about the Parkland shooting in Florida on Valentine's Day and everything else before that. And, the Sutherland Springs and Pulse nightclub and San Bernardino and Sandy Hook and Virginia Tech and Columbine and, countless others. And I started thinking about not the gun control debate, not which we need to have, of course, um, but just I guess why it's happening, and it's not an easy question to answer. But I started thinking about the evolution of weapons, and if you go back to prehistoric times and think about what was the first weapon that they used, stones or sticks, and they either used the stone to throw it at an animal because they had to eat, or maybe they had a pile of stones for defense if the tribe next door decided to come into their land and try to take what they had. Um, but I think so. So why is that? Why did we need the weapon in the first place? I think the biggest answer that people come up with is security and self-defense, and I think that is a part of it. It's a big part of it, and that's still in the discussion today with the talk about the Second Amendment and what that means in the 21st century. But I think it's more basic than that because whether it's using that stone to kill the rabbit so you can eat that night, or having a pile of stones to defend yourself from the people coming in, at its core, having a weapon of any kind is to inflict harm. It is not for deterrence. It's not having the bigger pile of stones so that family next door doesn't come into your land. Because deterrence usually doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, if they have the determination, they're going to come and try anyway. It's about inflicting harm. And if you think about the evolution of weapons, we had the stones, and then they figured out we can make those stones sharper and stick them on a stick, and then throw those things as a spear, and that's a little more effective. And then we had bows and smaller, sharp stones and arrows, and we could get them even farther. And then we made catapults and trebuchets, and we didn't even need to sharpen the stones then. We could just throw them a long way and do some damage. And then we figured out we had fire for a long time, and then we figured out how to make fire go boom, and and then we could translate that into making guns and cannons, and then even more recently into missiles and bombs and everything else. So what is that all about? So that evolution of weapons, at its core, it is still meant to harm other people or harm other things. It's not about deterrence. It's about harming others. Um, and the evolution of that from stones to sharp stones and so on is about projection and the distance that we can accomplish that goal. So I understand, and I have a lot of friends, and I have friends that may watch this video, that are very strong gun rights advocates, and they enjoy hunting and target shooting, and I have conversations with a lot of those people, and I see comments like that all over the place where they enjoy going out and shooting clay targets or going to a shooting range, or and there's certainly a lot of people that rely on hunting to provide food for their family. I get it. I do. But to claim that a weapon is not at its core meant to harm people is dishonest. And so I think we need to get around that as a society. You know, we have the Second Amendment, and we want to have the right to bear arms, and you know, there are some that want to have that right be completely universal and kind of without too many bounds. And that's a debate we can have, but don't use recreational activities like target shooting or whatever to make that claim, because that is not why we have weapons, and that is not why we had the first weapon. We had the first weapon not for deterrence, not because it looked cool to have a pile of rocks. We had them because if that clan from across the way came our direction, we could hurt them. So this is the first one of these. I was gonna do some writing about this, and I may still, I probably still will, because when I get these things in my head, talking about them was one thing, but I end up having to sit down at the keyboard and actually write. But on a Friday morning before I go to school, I thought I would just do a quick little video and kind of get my thoughts out there. So take care of yourselves. Have debates. Have sensible debates. You know, it's okay. You don't have to argue to debate. You can disagree, and you can express viewpoints, and you can get heated. But you can still have friends on both sides of this debate. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.